All right, a wonderful song there to have us getting started on a Wednesday morning like this. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wherever you are across the world this morning, it's a pleasure to be greeting you on this Wednesday morning. It's the 21st day of February in the year of our Lord 2024. And we give God thanks. We want to just ask that you stand by now for us as we bring you the latest from the NRP newsroom right here on this station. Stay with us. This is NRP Radio and NRP Media, broadcasting on the platform nrpmediaja.com. The time is 6:33, and make that 27 minutes going up to the hour of 7 o'clock. The news is right on us. Good morning and welcome to our platforms, nrpmediaja.com, also Facebook and YouTube at NRP Media JA. It's Tuesday, February 21. I am Leon Nash with the NRP Break of the Day Newscast. Here are the headlines. First, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics team are expected to be completed in the new financial year. Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining Ministry announces a $20 million relief fund to support fisherfolk impacted by high rising sea waves along Jamaica's coast on February 6. Reports of violations under the Political Ombudsman Interim Act can now be submitted to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, the ECJ. And in sport, England captain Ben Stokes to bowl in the fourth test against Ranchi. The news today is brought to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitations whatsoever.
Celebrating 3 years since our inception, the NRP brand of radio and other social media platforms on NRP Media JA is your newest online platform accessible for the promotion of your church and community activities along with news and sports related information. It's the platform you have been longing for. So call us today at 876-336-9928 or email us at nationalreligiousmediaja@gmail.com.
NRP Media and Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
And now the details of the news. Designs for the first Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics STEAM school are expected to be completed in the new financial year, and the necessary approvals obtained for construction. These measures will be facilitated under the Phase 2 of the Education System Transformation Program, for which a sum of $300 million has been allocated in the 2024-2025 estimates of expenditure, now before the House of Representatives. 6 STEAM schools will be constructed across the island, with the first slated to be established in St. Anne. The funds allocated under the Education System Transformation Program Phase 2 will also go towards promulgating the STEAM education policy and identifying additional lands to build out and develop an information and communications technology ICT strategy and requirement plan. Implemented in April 2022, the Education System Transformation Program has been the objective of advancing the modernization of the education system and to build on the initiatives already executed. It is expected to conclude in March 2030. The National Education Trust is the implementing agency for the program. Meanwhile, a sum of $108 million has been earmarked for the improvement of teaching practices and learning conditions in secondary education under the Jamaica Education Project, JEP. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining has announced a $20 million relief fund to support fisherfolk who were impacted by high rising sea waves along Jamaica's coast on February 6. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green, who expressed concern for the affected farmers or fishers, made the announcement during the 67th staging of the Hague Agricultural and Industrial Show in Trelawney recently. The waves, which were associated with a cold front weather system, damaged fish pots, boats, and business establishments. Mr. Green also advised that the National Fisheries Authority, NFA, has been tasked with assessing the damage and losses sustained by the fisherfolk. Initial reports indicate that more than 200 fishers have been directly impacted, rendering them unable to go out to sea while losing some 1,000 pots. In other news, the People's National Party says it strongly condemns the disruptive and vulgar tactics employed by the campaign for Jennifer Hall, a GLP councillor candidate in the Sydenham division of St. Catherine. Reports have surfaced detailing deliberate actions by Hall and other supporters, including the tearing down of 4x4 and 2x2 billboards erected by PNP councillor candidate Denise Steele Sang in various locations within the city, including Cromarty and Heartlands. In response to the egregious actions, Denise Steele Sang, the PNP candidate for the division, has taken swift and decisive steps by filing a formal complaint with the political ombudsman. This complaint underscores the urgent need for intervention to address clear violations of the principles of free and fair election practices, which are fundamental to the democratic process. The PNP says it firmly supports Steele Sang's actions and remains unwavering in its commitment to upholding the integrity of the electoral process. The party insists that all candidates have the right to campaign without fear of intimidation or sabotage. The party has appealed to the relevant authorities to conduct a thorough investigation promptly and take appropriate action to address the reported misconduct. It says it is imperative that political discourse in the Sydenham division remain respectful and focused on the issues that matter most to constituents. The PNP emphasizes its dedication to serving the interests of the people and will continue to advocate for a campaign environment characterized by civility, transparency, and for democratic norms. And reports of violations under the Political Ombudsman Interim Act can now be submitted to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica (ECJ). The commission, which will now perform the functions of political ombudsman under a recent amendment to the act, has launched an innovative online portal to accept complaints of political misconduct. Members of the public may now report breaches of the Act through an electronic complaint form on the ECJ's website at www.ecj.com.gm. The platform offers a convenient avenue to submit complaints online, along with the capability to upload images of incidents, providing visual evidence to support their claims and facilitate a more comprehensive understanding of reported issues. The new portal introduces an advanced case management system designed to ensure swift and precise processing of registered cases. The ECJ plans to release a mobile application enabling citizens to submit video recordings of incidents directly from their smartphones. Meanwhile, Chairman of the ECJ, Earl Jarrett, underscores that the ECJ's commitment to utilizing technology to enhance accessibility and user experience. According to him, ECJ proudly announces the launch of the Political Ombudsman online complaints portal, as it is committed to leveraging technology to streamline the complaint resolution process, fostering greater transparency and accountability within the electoral system. Under the Act, the Political Ombudsman shall investigate action taken by a political party, its supporters, where they are of the opinion that such action constitutes or likely to constitute a breach of any agreement, code, or arrangement for the time being enforced between or among political parties in Jamaica, or is likely to prejudice good relations between the supporters of various political parties. Complaints can be made by a person or anybody who claims to be affected by such actions. Reports should indicate or include details of the alleged infraction, include the location, date, and nature of the violation, as well as particulars of any person so impacted and any actual or potential harm in relation to the incident. The General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, says the government's failure of managing the country should be punished at the polls come next Monday. Speaking in Portland yesterday, Dr. Campbell said the Prime Minister only admitted failure by his government to manage and improve local government, so signaled policy changes to address the failure. The Prime Minister, he said, further confessed that since he has been campaigning, he has seen the dismal picture of how Jamaicans perceive local government and the result of the stewardship of municipalities, which could not remain the way it has been managed for the last few years. Dr. Campbell said that after such a confession, it is clear that the Prime Minister and his cabinet fell asleep on the job, causing massive deterioration in local services and the maintenance of parish infrastructure. He said for these reasons, among others, the JLP cannot be trusted to lead municipal corporations into the future. Highlighting that the JLP has never supported the local government system, the PNP General Secretary said voters could have no confidence that there would be meaningful policy changes as the government returns to business as usual. Dr. Campbell says the Prime Minister's statement smacks of hypocrisy in going to the people with failure while asking for more support. He called on Jamaicans not to accept excuses and false promises being churned out by the governing party. You're tuned to NRP Radio. Time is now 6:40. Listening to the news right here on this station. Western Police have listed several wanted men and persons of interest in their division. The following individuals are to report to the Denham Town Criminal Investigation Branch by 6 p.m. today. The wanted persons are Patrick Webb, Mark Webb, Michael Irons, otherwise called Blacks, Jumar Miller, otherwise called Sawney, Jermaine Balfour, otherwise called Parky, Richard Folks, otherwise called Sutty, only known as Breads, a man known only as African and Haitian. The persons of interest are Theresa Burke, Quinta Prince, otherwise called Feather, Tajay Thompson, otherwise called Tico, Teddy Malcolm, otherwise called Teddy Paul, Leonard Malcolm, otherwise called Giggs, Aldine Davidson, otherwise called Dino and Big Dino, Shamal White, otherwise called Gov, Javon Gooden, a man known only as Bubsy, a man known only as Bononus, one individual known as Tweezy Bird, one known only as Ready, one man known only as Gerard Douglas, and a man only known as Sarge. Detectives have identified these individuals as persons who may be able to assist them with ongoing investigations in the division. Additionally, anyone with information that can assist in locating these individuals is being asked to contact the Denham Town CIB at 876-948-6443, Crime Stop at 311, the JCF tip line at 811, or the nearest police station. You're listening to news on NRP Radio, your primary Christian source for news, sports, and the weather on nrpmediaja.com, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitation. Now let's give you some sporting information brought to you by Hepburn's Glass. They are located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston.
Hepburn's Glass Supplies is the latest trend setting supplier of mirrors in the industry. We specialize in tinted and clear glasses, as well as mirrors for all your windows, doors, and closets at very competitive prices. To maximize your shopping experience, we stock 316 and 1/8 mirror thickness and 316 and quarter thickness in our entire stock of float glasses. We have in stock gloves, cutters, and suction cups at unbeatable prices. Our customer service is second to none, with same-day cutting for your specific measurements. Visit our office at 13 Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13. Call us at 9080962 or email hepburn.glass@gmail.com. Hepburn's Glass, quality service is our priority.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for our sports stories, we tee off our bowl off on there is every chance. England captain Ben Stokes will bowl off or bowl in the fourth test against India in Ranchi, according to vice captain Oli Pope. Stokes has not bowled competitively since the second Ashes test in July and had knee surgery in November. The 32-year-old bowled in the nets on Wednesday as England, who are 2-1 down, prepare for Friday's fourth test. We will see how he pulls up tomorrow, Pope told BBC Sports. If he's not too sure or too sore, that's a positive sign. Stokes has been hampered by a left knee issue for some time, and despite efforts to get fully fit for the Ashes, he did not bowl in the last 3 tests, then not at all in the 50-over World Cup in the autumn. His operation in November involved removing bone spur and stitches in his meniscus. Stokes initially ruled out bowling on this tour, saying he had made a pinky promise to the England physio. But after England's defeat in the third test, the Durham man opened the door to the possibility of taking the ball in the final 2 tests, saying, "We had been able to bowl at 100% in training." On Wednesday, Stokes bowled at batters in the nets for the first time since his surgery, then had a long conversation with team doctor Glenn Ray. Finally, on football, manager Thomas Tuchel will leave Bayern Munich at the end of the season. The 50-year-old replaced Julian Nagelsmann at the German champions in March 2023 on a deal until June 2025. But the former Chelsea boss will depart a year earlier than planned as part of a sporting realignment at Bayern. He led Bayern at least to last season's he led Bayern to last season's Bundesliga title after taking over the spring, but they now sit 8 points behind leaders Bayer Leverkusen after back-to-back league defeats. One of those was an emphatic 3-0 loss to Leverkusen, and they were also beaten by 1-0 by Lazio in the first leg of their Champions League last 16 time. Bayern CEO Jean-Christian Driesen said both parties agreed to mutually end their collaboration following an open, good conversation. That's sports in our NRP Break of Day newscast, brought to you by Hepburn, located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston. We promise to bring you a good news story as often as we can. If you know of or are aware of an event or person whose good story we highlight, please send this information to our email address at nationalreligiousmediaja@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp 876-336-9928. That's the local news and sports. Stand by now for the latest international news, courtesy of the Voice of America.
This is VOA News. I'm Tommy McNeil. The United States again vetoed an Arab-backed United Nations Security Council resolution urging for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. VOA's Patsy Wadakaswara.
The U.S. proposed its own draft resolution. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield.
In addition, our draft states there can be no reduction of territory in the Gaza Strip and rejects, as we have before in Resolution 2720, any forced displacements of civilians in Gaza. It also highlights the concerns many council members have regarding the fate of civilians in Rafah, making clear that under current circumstances, a major ground offensive into Rafah should not proceed.
Skeptics see the U.S. resolution as a diplomatic ploy that would prolong Palestinian suffering. Patsy Wadakaswara, VOA News, Washington.
Palestinians who are seeking refuge in southern Gaza are lined up outside of bakeries and stores to buy food items amid a shortage of supplies. VOA's Rick Pantaleo.
More than half of the Gaza Strip's population of 2.3 million have sought refuge from the Israeli offensive in the southern city of Rafah. Abdullah al-Kafarna is a displaced Palestinian who was among those waiting to buy the much-needed food. We have a shortage of food supplies and all sorts of food. There is no beef, chicken, or fish. All that is in the market are beans and lentils. People are tired of these things. For 5 months, we have been suffering from this thing. Large crowds, some standing for hours, anxiously wait their turn to buy bread. Rick Pantaleo, VOA News.
You'll find more at voanews.com. Again, voanews.com. This is VOA News.
Thank you so much for listening there to the latest international news, courtesy of the Voice of America. Now let's take our turn and go on over to presenting to you the latest from the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica. The National Meteorological Service of Jamaica is reporting that there is a significant feature of a cold front east of Jamaica. The cold front is expected to gradually move east through today before weakening by Thursday across the eastern Caribbean. Windy conditions are expected, especially across northern and the southwestern parishes, through to affect cooler temperatures today and for the next few days. In the 24-hour forecast this morning, isolated showers across eastern and north central parishes, otherwise partly cloudy. This afternoon, expect partly cloudy conditions. It will be cool and windy as well. Tonight, mainly fair and cool. In the 3-day forecast starting tomorrow, that's Thursday through to Saturday. On Thursday, it will be partly cloudy across northern parishes, otherwise mainly sunny. Partly cloudy in the afternoon, cool and windy. On Friday, expect mainly sunny conditions in the morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon, and cool. On Saturday, it will be mainly sunny in the morning. There will be isolated afternoon showers across central and eastern parishes. In terms of other current regional weather features, there is a high-pressure ridge building across the Gulf of Mexico. The maximum temperature expected for Kingston today, 20 Celsius. Maximum temperature expected for Montego Bay today, 26 degrees Celsius. That is the latest weather report and forecast right here on NRP Radio. And as we wrap up this morning's newscast, here are the headlines once again. First, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics STEAM schools are expected to be completed in the new financial year. Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining Ministry announces a $20 million relief fund to support fisherfolk impacted by high-rising sea waves along Jamaica's coast on February 6. Reports of violations under the Political Ombudsman Interim Act can now be submitted to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ. And in sports, England captain Ben Stokes likely bowl in the 4th test against Ian Ranchi. The full half-an-hour package of news in the NRP Break of Day newscast came to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitations. Here is your invitation to join us again this evening at 6:30 for the evening news roundup. On behalf of the entire news and production teams, I am NRP News. We encourage you to join this growing medium by subscribing to our YouTube channel at NRP Media JA. Feel fulfilled and informed. Have a good rest of your morning, reminding you too that if you walk, ride, or drive, make every effort to arrive alive. Have a good one, and stand by now for the program Let the Word Speak, which will be coming up on the radio platform at nrpmediaja.com at 7 o'clock. This has been your newscast right here on your station, the National Religious Partnership Media and Radio. We broadcast on the platform nrpmediaja.com.